If your tongue can touch your nose, ancient cultures believed you were spiritually Mars. By what depends on the country. The medical term for an abnormally long tongue is macroglossia. It can be a sign of underlying genetic conditions like Beckwith-Wiedemann syndrome, Down syndrome, or hypothyroidism. It can also be a standalone trait. Tongues that are unusually long can cause real fucking problems. Sleep apnea, jaw misalignment, speech impediments, even difficulty fucking eating. Gene Simmons of Kiss has a famously long fucking tongue. So did Adolf Hitler, oddly enough. Photographs and autopsy notes confirmed his tongue was unusually long. And nobody can fucking explain why a long tongue has been a spiritual symbol of both reverence and dread in every fucking culture across the globe. In Tibetan Buddhist culture, sticking out a long tongue is a traditional greeting. It's not rude, it's not childish, it's deeply respectful. The tradition comes from the 9th century Tibetan king Langdarama, who was said to be cruel, tyrannical, and, according to legend, possessed by a demon. Langdama was reportedly identified by a black tongue. To this day, sticking out your tongue in Tibet proves you don't have a black tongue. You're proving you're not Langdama. You're proving that you're not the demon's fucking avatar in this lifetime. Across the world in Hindu mythology, the goddess Kali is depicted with an extremely long tongue dripping with blood, sticking out aggressively. Kali is the goddess of destruction, of time, of death. Her tongue is her power. Her tongue is her hunger. Her tongue is the part of her body that consumed her enemies. In Maori culture, the haka, the famous war dance, involves sticking out a long tongue as far as possible to terrify enemies. The long tongue is a symbol of life force, of warrior energy, of spiritual readiness for battle. In medieval European witch trials, an unusually long tongue was considered a sign that the accused had been kissed by the devil. Witnesses would claim the long tongue allowed witches to recite their dark incantations faster than humans could. Some witch hunters specifically inspected the underside of the tongue for the devil's mark, a black spot that supposedly appeared where the demon had bonded with the witch. Different cultures, different mythologies, the same fucking fixation on tongues. A 2011 study from the University of Tokyo found that people with longer than average tongues had measurably different speech patterns. They spoke fast, they were more verbose, they were rated by listeners as more persuasive and charismatic than people with average length tongues. But they were also rated as less trustworthy once listeners had time to reflect on what was said. Their tongues helped them lie better. A long tongue can manipulate sound. It can produce more varied vibrations, more tonal complexity, more vocal range. People with long tongues are overrepresented among singers, actors, and public speakers. They're also overrepresented among con artists, salesmen, and fucking politicians. The tongue is the body's most powerful muscle, and the long-tongued have more of it. In 1969, an exorcist working in southern Italy, a Catholic priest named Father Antonio Veschi, documented a case that he kept private until his death. He was called to perform an exorcism on a young woman who family members claimed had been speaking in tongues for 3 weeks straight. When Father Veschi arrived, the woman had not slept. She had not eaten solid food. She had been speaking, non-fucking stop, in languages nobody recognized. Her tongue, the family reported, had grown longer over the 3 weeks. They produced photographs from before her condition began, photographs from the day Veschi arrived. The photographs showed a difference. Measurable, visible, the tongue had definitely fucking elongated. Veschi performed the exorcism. According to his notes, during the ritual, the woman's tongue extended further. She spoke directly to him in Latin he had never taught her. She named priests who had died centuries earlier. She told him details about his own fucking childhood that he had not shared with anyone. At the end of the exorcism, her tongue extended impossibly fucking long. Veschi wrote that it touched her collarbone. She bit down, the tongue retracted, blood poured from her mouth. When she stopped screaming, her tongue was back to normal length. She remembered fuck all. But Veschi wrote in his journal that night, the thing that was not in her body, the thing that was in her tongue, and it has gone somewhere else. I felt it leave through the open window. It is now in someone else's mouth. I do not know whose. I will know when they begin to speak. He spent the rest of his life listening to strangers' voices, listening for the same cadence, the same rhythm. He died never having found it. A naturally long tongue is a spiritual indicator of a serpent soul. This is documented in the suppressed Gnostic Gospels, particularly in the Gospel of Judas. The serpent soul is a specific class of soul that has been reincarnating since the time before time and carries the genetic memory of the original serpent in the garden, the serpent who deceived Eve, the serpent who introduced lies into the human race. Long-tongued people are predisposed to lying, gossip, and manipulation, and seduction through speech. They can't fucking help it. The tongue demands to be used. The tongue craves to deceive. The tongue is its own master, separate from the conscious mind of the person who has it. This is why long-tongued people are overrepresented among professions that rely on persuasion, sales, politics, media, or religion. They're not choosing those professions. The tongue is choosing for them. The serpent soul is steering them towards roles where they can do maximum fucking damage. If you have a long tongue, you've probably noticed. You've said things you didn't mean to say. You've manipulated people without intending to. You've told lies that came out of your mouth before you decided to lie. That wasn't you. That was the serpent soul using your tongue as its instrument. The only way to fight it is fucking short. Long-tongued people who take vows of silence, monks, nuns, ascetics, break the curse. They starve the serpent soul. They reclaim the mouths. If you have a long-tongued person in your life, be careful with their words, watch their actions.